and internal audit done. So
I can speak a little bit about the UI and the recent plan Joe and I have come up with. So we have a lot of different interfaces, and we're going to be rapidly deprecating some of those interfaces that aren't maintained anymore and consolidating all their features onto one domain. So by the end of this week, we will have deprecated SushiSwapClassic.org and exchange.sushiswapclassic.org. So those two sites today will receive a notice saying that, hey, we're deprecating these sites. You guys should, definitely start using and getting used to SushiSwap.fi. And then today and or tomorrow, depending on our final feature implementations, we'll have a new UI out for SushiSwap.fi that basically takes a lot of the learnings and all the feedback that we've received for the couple of months and consolidating our stack so everybody can use all the sushi features all on one interface. You'll be able to stake in the bar, see your APY. You'll be able to farm. You'll be able to do swaps, limit orders, and etc. And we're going to be rapidly, because we've consolidated our stack into this one repo, we're going to be rapidly building additional features on top of it. And some other items in terms of UI to look out for is that we're coming out with a trading interface with integrations with TradingView. So we've basically built the API out already, and now we have to engage with TradingView as to merging our API with their charting system. But locally accessing that API should be available on our Sushi Trader, and this UI will be available soon. You'll have live streaming prices directly from the Sushi decentralized exchange. You can also search pricing information from other exchanges, and all those will be live streamed. And so the trading view, we hope, is a more compact view for people who are more interested in trading, looking at the screen all the time as opposed to making swaps. And that interface will be an alpha for that interface will be released along with the new UI that's set to drop today or tomorrow. And we'll have the links for that, and there will be subsequent implementations to improve that interface. And so by the end of this week, what our users should expect are SushiSwap.fi, exchange.sushiswap.fi, and analytics.sushiswap.fi. And these three products should hold all the features you need to use Sushi. All other domains will be considered deprecated and or unmaintained. So, as we go on, looking forward to more feedback from the community on what features we want to add and, what things we should include on the UI roadmap. But that's it for UI interfaces. I think someone's asking a question about SIMP3.
I think before that, a question before was on the plans for Sushi Token long term and how huge APIs are awesome but unsustainable.
Oh, huge ideas.
I think for one, we have to clear up that if we make $1 billion in volume in trades, we also make 0.05% of that in revenue for Xsushi holders, which is directly paid out, and I mean that's what the main API for Xsushi is coming from. And as long as we maintain those volumes in our trading, and if we also get additional revenue from BentoBox and future products, I think we can sustain value for holders.
Yeah. So that's on the Xsushi side, totally true. And then on top of that, so now there is also APY through Sushi tokens on some of the liquidity pairs, and that's actually quite sustainable. And you can find on the forums, you can find the emission schedule. So actually, we're reducing every month the emissions to make sure that after about 3 years, we end up with the max supply of 250 million. So that's all been thought of. We know exactly what the maximum is going to be that we're aiming for, and that's slowly scaling down over time. So those APYs, if over that time the price of the token appreciates, we'll end up sort of getting similar APYs across for quite a while to go. So that's pretty sustainable at the moment.
Right, and I think to add on to that point, we're seeking out lots of partnerships, right, in order to not only grow volume but also grow liquidity. And at the end of the day, partially our job is to make sure that people are swapping and using functions on SushiSwap, because this generates more value, which generates sustainable rewards for our LPs. We do have some long-term objectives as to how to make sushi more accessible for other platforms, other interfaces, even wallet interfaces, right? They should have native sushi functions on there. That's part of a more long-term project, I guess, called Sushi Plugin, where we make it really easy for anyone to incorporate SushiSwap features into any application or website or that they're building. And this should also propagate and make sushi more visible to more entry-level consumers, and this also in turn generates volume. I think in terms of our volume to liquidity ratio, it's actually quite good at the moment, even compared to other AMMs such as Uniswap. So that's sustainable for the short term. And long term, it's about growing volume, and as Boring Crypto and Kino added on, building other features that generate more volume and more fees to our ex-sushi holders as well. Then let's see, what was the next question?
Say anything about layer 2? There's a question about what are the plans for layer 2. I think Joe's been looking into that. You want to say something about that?
Yeah, sure. I'm like struggling to try and find where the AMM channel is, though. It's
it's the YouTube.
Oh, it's a YouTube. Gotcha. Okay, cool. So so for L2, we're still evaluating what platform, right? I think the platform is very important. There are some considerations to take with L2. The first is that you break composability in most cases, and kind of like that's a bad situation. Second piece is kind of like the time to enter and the time to exit. Some L2s have like an extended challenge period. Some are like relatively truncated in comparison. Oof. Damn, hang on. Wow, screaming kids. Sorry, kids are home today. So some have like a truncated exit period. Some have longer. The other thing to consider is like if we want to maintain some composability, maybe who's going to join us in the roll up, right? Like having partner projects share a roll up is much more useful. If you kind of like want to do something on sushi, then maybe like borrow. Like those types of considerations. And then we're still very far from cross rollup, and so I think that that's probably the best strategy. And then the last part is that we split liquidity if we go into L2, right? Like it could be like a pool that has liquidity in L2 and a pool that has liquidity in L1, and then that's also not a great user experience. So there are still considerations. I'd say like at the top of the list are like OVM, ZK Sync, and Arbitrium. Those are like some that are getting some analysis.
Cool. So the next question is about Simp3. So that's the vesting. So we actually just discussed that again. I think there will be a snapshot proposal going out at some point with some different options, so the community can make the final choice on exactly how we go ahead with that. But we have several technologies available on how to deal with that, and we're going to try to do that in a fair way. I think the consensus among the team is definitely to work towards getting rid of the lockup as soon as we distribute the first everything is vested. Then because the emissions are much lower now, I think the idea is to at least get rid of it in the future, so we don't have this thing hanging around anymore. But maybe is Lucas here? Maybe he can say something about that.
I don't think there's much to say on top what's written on the forum post.
Lucas, you're really quiet, man.
Oh, sorry about that. Is it better now?
Just slightly.
Oh, crap. Yeah, as I said, I don't think there's much to add, because I've written everything out on the forum. I think we should definitely get rid of the vesting as soon as possible. So as Boring said, so that we don't have it hanging around. I would also go for the airdrop option, just so that we don't have to deal with any contracts or anything. Just get it over with in a couple transactions and forget about it.
Cool. The next question I see here is any reason for integrating Archer DAO over other options such as Keeper DAO? I have no idea I have no idea what that is about. So if someone does, jump in.
Archer DAO is a MEV, like geared DAO. That's all I know. Yeah, we can't, like in any blockchain that doesn't do kind of like a commit reveal schema. There is the possibility of the block proposer and the miner doing transaction reordering to change essentially trades, front running, and sandwich attacks.
And as I understood it, that's the Y cable proposal we have on our forum relating to Archer DAO. Yeah, but I mean, that is what it is at the moment. They made a proposal on our forum, and obviously then that's discussed, and the community can decide whether we want to give a grant to them or collaborate in any other form.
Okay, so it looks like there's no concrete collaboration as of this point. It's just preliminary stuff.
I think Daniel just asked a very good question. What do you think are SushiSwap's most interesting upcoming features? Or upcoming feature, I think next one, the most close one is Bento, right?
Well, and the
yeah.
new Shiny interface.
Yes,
Oh,
and
yeah.
also
Bento is a new product.
Bento and our FI.
Yeah, so I guess most exciting things are consolidating the UIs to make them way easier, and that'll be represented in the new SushiSwap.fi UI. And then there are interesting things going on, definitely with Bento Box and that paradigm shift there. And there's a lot of maybe if LiveX is available, he can speak more about SusChef. This is actually pretty good for our, I guess, partnerships and bringing other people on chain with us as well. is an exciting feature for me.
Yeah, so SushiSwap is about tracking those liquidity when the users stake their tokens into OP tokens into BasterShip. So in our current design on BasterShip, there's no way to easily track which users have how much amount of LP tokens. So with SushiSwap and the Sushi EO token, it should be coming. They can like have the same amount of EO token when they stake their LP tokens into SushiSwap. So SushiSwap will work as a literally SushiSwap for the master chef, and it will be like great help for a partnership with those projects on Onsen and also other new projects as well.
We got one question about Miso. That's a project.
I can answer about Miso. So Gunpatchy just updated me today about this. We should have on the forum. We should have an update very soon. Right now, so here he says that the potential feature for Miso are endless. You just want some direction to focus on. So what people want in a token launchpad, first of all, as feature. I know he has the ICBO implemented from Egypt. He also has, like the Dutch auction that are there, but he will need, to have some direction from the community. So, but tomorrow I have a call with Gunpatchy, so that should be cleared out very soon.
We have a question about Aave or Aave. I know that Joseph, you wrote the proposal on that.
Yeah, sure. So we just created the PR. We're waiting for an update from the Aave team, and then we have Mackie has the delegated Aave. Actually, if you have Aave delegated to 0xMackie.eth, is that right?
Yes, that's right. So right now we have 158,000 Aave and stake Aave delegated to my address, so 0xMackie.eth. And as soon as they have pretty much merged the PR, we can move forward and have it voted on by the community at large. And once this is passed, it's going to be executed, and we're going to have Xsushi on Aave.
There's a good question about the partnership between Sushi and Yearn.
So the partnership in the, I guess, Yearn ecosystem and with all of the participants, Pickle, Cream, Acropolis, and so on, is really like about working together, like to make sure we are pushing in the same direction. So whether it is about leveraging Yearn, for example, or Treasury, if it's about putting some capital in Cream. Cream is going to be collaborating with Iron Bank and Bento Bugs. They're going to be seeding some liquidity. So that's kind of the sort of example. Yearn is using SushiSwap swaps when they're doing strategies, and so on and so on. So it's like we are helping them, they're helping us, and so on. This is a very broad collaboration. It's not very concrete in itself. Like it's not a merger by like standard I guess businesses. We are protocols. We're decentralized. We're just we're working together. Everyone is in a Discord together, and we are sharing ideas. We're sharing talent, and so on and so on. That's kind of the best outlook for Yearn. And I'm a very big proponent of also like maybe interacting in their governance. Yesterday I was in a talk actually with some of with bands from Framework, Polychain, and so on, where the discussion about remuneration was aborted, or like we kind of started to talk about it. We do think that participating in the governance at Sushi would be very interesting too, because we want to align all of the protocols together, and that's one way to do so. So I won't comment on exactly like the minting or not, but I do think that their devs and strategists should be incentivized in a manner that reflect the risk they're taking, and similar to what I guess the sushi team is earning, in my opinion.
Yeah. And just add one more note. So besides the dev, I think the year end as Sushi also have partnership in the PR. But it's like we have been discussing about this, but I think there will be more closely partnership.
I also saw a question about Miriam. I think at this point, when it comes to SushiSwap Feed 3, we're just in a process of collecting many ideas of like what we could include. So it's very much in an ideation phase. But maybe Lefex can explain a little bit more about Mirin and what's going on with that.
Sure. So the basic concept of mirroring is about pulling those liquidity from those exchanges other than outside of DeFi, such as Binance, Coinbase, Gemini, these kind of centralized exchanges, so that we don't have to be limited into only DeFi space, but rather to expand our liquidity into like 10 times, 20 times, so that we could be the eventual number one in this space. Speaking of the concrete concept, there's like a franchise pool, which is run by each operator. So unlike current design, there's separate pools for same pairs, such as SushiSwap. We now only have one pair, but in the Mirin, we'll have like multiple pairs, so that each pair will be run by each different separate operators. And those pools can have different model of fee structure and invariant structure, so that they could compete with each other. And those operators would need to stake sushi. So it will be helpful for us as well for the price of sushi. And each franchise will has its own customized governance, so that not only with sushi, but also the operator's own governance token will be rewarded for the LP users, which is kind of win-win for both of us and for the centralized exchanges.
Maki, you wanted to answer a question?
Yeah, I'll go for Carlos. So, hey, Carlos, very happy to see you here. So, with Aave listing X Sushi, does it make sense to create a vault with Sushi or X Sushi? I think that's a very good question. And the way I see it is, if people have X Sushi, then it does make sense to, like, create a vault for them, so it's easier to supply into the strategy. But at the end of the day, like, we need to think about two things, right? So how do you get your sushi? So the people that are LPing claim their sushi, and then they can put them to work in a strategy. And all of this, the swapping can, the wrapping can be happening straight in the strategy, or people are already swapped and then they use it. It's kind of, at the end of the day, it doesn't really change anything in my opinion. I think it's more about who you want to gather to. Right now, there's like what I can just check the supply of sushi. There's at the moment there is 73 million X sushi that are already wrapped, and that needs to be put to work. They're just sleeping in people wallets. I think that could be like a very sizable market to attract X sushi for strategies and so on, where because they're underserved at the moment, they cannot use it as collateral, they cannot use it as pretty much like put them to work on anything else. So I think we could even see like X Sushi LP pool coming. I don't see why we don't have it. We added before in the many of the weeks, sorry. and since then, it hasn't surfaced again. I think that could be interesting to see like more liquid market for Sushi also. Something to think about. And yeah, I hope it answered your question. And if there's more, like just go ahead.
Also interesting to note with Bento Box Plus, we'll add support for strategies in the Bento Box, which and we've already written a strategy for sushi. So if you have sushi in the Bento Box Plus, then behind the scenes it will automatically be turned into X Sushi, while you can still use it in lending pairs or as collateral, and it will just be as sushi, but your balance will just keep growing because underneath it's actually invested into X Sushi. So it's kind of like the same thing, but working sort of the other way around. But it's another way of making sure that people can basically stake in X Sushi while still making full use of their tokens. So it's another way to get more capital efficiency.
We have a question about limit
There are a few-
orders. Do you want to go ahead, Mia?
Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, then we already have the limit order on live, I believe, on SushiSwap Lite and also on our SushiSwap FY. FI.
Yeah, it will be ready in a few days.
We also have questions from Daniel. I think it's a good question. Do we have any near-term plans to be present on other chains like Binance and Moonbeam and all of those? So I think our team can answer that. Mikey, do you want to answer this?
Yeah, there's definitely a plan for Moonbeam. There was a proposal, and we've talked to Moonbeam, and so there's an idea of launching on Moonbeam when they go to Kusama, and then again when they go to their mainnet implementation. And we're looking at doing an airdrop of Moon Sushi, let's call it, which is basically, so we'll take the sushi balances and we'll drop them onto the new chain. So everyone who holds sushi gets some sushi to play with, as well as some local tokens on that chain, so you can start playing with it straight away. So that's in the pipeline. For the other chains, I'd refer to Maki. I don't know if he's been discussing anything.
So right now, aside from Polkadot and Kusama with Moonbeam, like you just said, Boring, there is no actual plan aside from the grant from Serum that we hope some devs are gonna be helping up. There is no other like layer one really ideas. I mean, I'm still looking at atoms and other things like this for personal like knowledge, but there's no like plans, no proposal that it was passed or else about other layer one. So.
There's a question from Nick. Have you guys thought about having private sale allocations for X Sushi or sushi holders, similar to SushiSwap? Mackie or Jordan, do you want to answer this question?
Not really familiar with how SushiSwap and DuckDAO are doing it. I'm guessing it's private sales allocation for sushi. Is it like I don't know if Nick, you can put more substance to the question. Is it like people that own SushiSwap token or DuckDAO needs them to be first to buy the new tokens, or like just maybe more precision would be appreciated.
So I guess, yeah, that is referring to miso, whether launches on miso would first be offered to sushi token holders.
So I mean, that could be actually like a, how you say it, like a feature that we could add potentially. That could be interesting in my opinion. But that would be like not just for sushi holders. I think like what if you could decide that any a specific NFT holders can only buy this new token that just released or is in pre-sale, that in private sale. That could be cool. I think we need to expand more than just like make it one token that is necessarily sushi. I think that's cool, but there could be very creative paths for this idea. I'm not against it. I mean, that's something we could actually bring up to Gonpachi once he posts like on the forum for looking for direction, like he said earlier. That is something that could be implemented, and I think it's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, that would be cool just to add as it obviously be an option for the pool creator, right? For the token, for the people launching their token. But obviously, like having an option to do a specific private sale for ex-sushi holders or something, that could be sort of one of the default options, because that helps us. But it will be up to the people launching, obviously, to choose that, right?
There's one question about whether we are planning on any integration with Ren to bring wrapped tokens to sushi.
I mean, we would need to talk with the Rent team, see how we can maybe synergize. I'm not against it. I think the Rent people are like fantastic people. They've been here since 2018, building, based in Singapore. Like, really enjoy. I would enjoy working with them on potentially, moving some of their pool to SushiSwap. Right now, like even like what would be amazing is you can wrap your Dogecoin or else directly from the interface. But this is a long shot, and I don't think that could happen like in the near term. But still, that would be like a very amazing feature to add.
We have a question for Mia and Chester about user growth and acquisition.
Yep, thank you. Thanks for the question, Magic Turtle. Right, so we had a comprehensive PR and marketing proposal in October, I believe, and we're still trying those to implement all those strategies in China. So so far, then we have achieved a good progress on that. So through like posting articles and then translating our website into Chinese, so we have some growth in China users. And then we're going to implement more strategies into global PR. So hopefully then we can gain more like users. And also then we have been discussing with our dev team very closely on how to like gain more volume or like the TVL for each of the websites. So hopefully then we will have like a more progress this year. And Chester, do you want to add anything then, if I miss anything?
No, I think you got it. Mia's been doing a great job with all of this on the Chinese marketing side to great success, it seems. So I'm looking forward to whatever we try and implement in the future on the English-speaking side and getting involved there.
On
good.
the question of merchandise came up. I know that Chester, you already had some ideas around that, right?
Did I?
Oh, I'm sorry.
We're gonna launch sushi socks now.
I mean, that sounds like a great idea, but I think that might have been someone else.
Yeah, I think we're better at
Sushi
something
chopstick.
different. Yeah, sushi chopstick or bento box. What about Laker bento box made from wood or something like very fancy, or a sake bottle maybe? That could be very cool.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Ooh, that would be cool. Happy to. I think
yeah, we should definitely move forward on merchandise. I think it's fun, and I want more sushi branded stuff.
yeah, anyone watching, send your ideas to Castry and I, and we'll see what we can whip up for you.
The absolute ideal would be those mascots, the sushi mascots images that we have. If that can be like a plush doll, like that would be, I would be so happy.
Definitely LevX. We should run a sushi restaurant.
Another question from Yield Wizard. What do you think of partnering with yield aggregators such as Farm and LPH? Who want to answer this question, guys?
Maki,
Sorry, what's the question?
Okay. What do you think of partnering with yield aggregators such as Farm and LPH to give SushiSwap farmers multiple tokens as yield instead of only sushi?
Like double yield, triple yield, and so on and so on. Like I think they're like what makes SushiSwap even more interesting. So we should totally collaborate. I haven't spoke with the farm team in a while. MPH people we've talked before their introduction to the onsen. I would need to reach out to them again. That is not a bad idea at all. I just think that I would wait for Levex to finish a sous chef contract before going that road. We can do it in a way that we can do double yield right now, but it's not in a scalable manner. So I am not, willing to push too much Jiro on this side on integration and everything. So might as well have something that is uniform and that is audited, battle tested before doing too much double yield opportunities. But I'm not against it, and I think that is the way forward, for sure.
cool. And in line with that, the ample geyser, there's a question about that. What's going on with that?
So about the ample geyser right now, maybe Jiro can bring some light to it. Jiro is here, right? You can probably bring some help. We gave them the token for the emission, so right now they do have the sushi, I think. If they don't have the sushi, they are in the treasury, so we will need to do a transfer, and then they will be able to distribute it to all of the ample Pescadero participants.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I have much to add. Like as I understand it, they're staking LP tokens and they're getting sushi as a result. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, exactly. So Jiro created like a token that is basically receiving all of the pool's emission for the Pescadero, which is owned by Ample team at the moment, and they can claim the sushi and they can like just distribute it to the holders. I guess it should be happening very soon. I mean, I haven't been in touch with the Ample team in 1 week. I would need to reconnect with them to make sure everything is fine. But the last test I've heard from Jiro is everything was good. So, yeah, we'll give you a proper update on this. Okay. Oh, they want to show the sushi rewards. That's what they want. Oh, I don't know if it's how I guess with the vesting, it's possible, similar to what is going on at Boring Finance.
Maybe we could go for the last 10 questions and close it off for today. In terms of German marketing or translation, I have one article on my desk I still have to review. So I think we try to translate into as many languages as we can and leverage professional translators as well as community members for those tasks.
Last 10 questions.
or last 9 now? I feel like I
Last
answered
9.
one.
Yeah.
We have a question on what other guides we have in the work.
With the new UI, there will be various video guides released on how to use the interface and on how to use the interface, what functionalities you can use. So those will be coming out in the next few weeks as we resolve some of the feature sets for the new UI design. In terms of decision making on which pools to enter, we can probably write a guide about that. But entering pools has some risks that people should be aware of, and I guess a guide should describe all those risks and how you can mitigate those risks in kind of a knowledgeable fashion. So we can write that guide as well.
A question from Magic Turtle about paying out vested sushi to other smart contracts. I know that has been a question which has been asked around the Sim3 proposal.
So yeah, about that, I've actually written a small post. I can read it here. I think that all the contracts should reach out to us. They should let us know how they want to deal with it. It's possible that some contracts don't have a way to withdraw it directly from the contract, so we would need to implement redirects for them. I think that we should make it a vote as well on Snapshot, and yeah, just have them reach out and let us know how it's gonna work out, if it's gonna work out.
Yeah, I think the default would be that we just drop it, but yeah, it'd be great to if that doesn't work for certain contracts, then we don't want that sushi to be lost. But we prefer to. Our preference is obviously for the sushi to end up with the rightful owners.
I mean, what is sushi? Sushi is a vote. I don't see why we would be giving votes to people that are not going to vote in any single way. So personally, I mean, I don't see why we should be dropping sushi to contracts like Dracula or so on and so on that are pretty much like doing nothing and just following their just dumping sushi to funnel it in their token. So nothing against like people that want to do so, but I don't see why we would be rewarding contracts. I mean, personally, that's just an opinion. I mean, some of them perhaps are good and so on, but I see it as we want people to be involved in the governance. We want people to vote. That's pretty much my outlook.
There's a question from Bob regarding how the community can show support for the development team and what we would like them to do to make us and make sushi more successful.
I think that Bob, then you always can reach out to us on the Discord. I just sent our Discord link message to you, but also then feel free to reach out to us, like leave comments in their Twitter, or just reach out to some of the team member here on the call. Then we all would like to hear the insights and feedback from community. And I also can leave my own Discord in if you want to reach out.
Yeah, I think there's two ways here. Inbound, we love to hear from the community. We love to hear from people. Any ideas or feedback or questions. That's always great. Obviously, if community members like what we do, then it's always nice if you spread the word to others, so more people find out about sushi. That's helpful, obviously for us as well.
And then there was another question regarding Binance staking awards compared to normal sushi staking. I think the difference is that the Binance rewards aren't factoring in the vested and locked sushi. And they're only showing the immediately harvestable sushi. So currently we have a 2/3 lockup in effect, and this is what we've been talking about for the SIMP3 discussions. If you want to hear more about that discussion, you can go backwards in the live stream a little bit.
Can I? I
Yeah.
think that Binance staking is X sushi staking.
Oh, X sushi staking.
So I think the difference there is I've heard that they've got a withdrawal period of I think 2 days, and I think that it's exactly the same thing. You just don't have to pay for gas, but you are much less flexible. You do not own the X sushi. You just have the right to it, I guess. And Binance is possibly taking a cut.
I see. And the X sushi staking should also be subject to vesting as well, right?
X sushi staking is not subject to vesting.
Okay.
Max is asking if we feel confident that SushiSwap can maintain enough working capital to compensate devs, community managers, and designers for long periods of time.
I think the simple answer is yes. We currently have, 80 million in the treasury, under control of the community. So as long as the community keeps being willing to fund us, then yeah, for sure. There was a proposal to turn some of that, because it's all kept in sushi, to turn some of that sushi into some stable coins. That proposal at that time didn't pass, but we might put another proposal out to at least like sort of over time turn a little bit of that treasury into a stable coin, just to get a little bit even more security for future funding. But right now funding doesn't seem to be an issue at all, I think.
I also want to talk on that. It doesn't seem like a problem now, right? Because there's lots of money, but we don't know kind of like what could be around the corner. I think that we really would have liked that proposal to pass, because like typically projects that are kind of holding their own tokens or equity, right? That has like a variable scale that goes up and down with the price of the token, and to have kind of like a stable runway, we need to have like better treasury management, and so yeah, I'd like to see another proposal of some sort that enables us to have better treasury management so that we can kind of like have guaranteed runway.
So I think it's the last two questions now. There's a question on what the maximum team size will be in the future.
I think this is
1,000.
Yeah.
1,000.
Every Solidity dev in the market right now.
I think Daniel asked a good last question. Do you have any long-term or far-fetched ideas or hopes for SushiSwap features or products that might be possible in the future?
Premier L2 layer, or Premier kind of like swap in L2. I would really like to see that. I'd also like to see a bank. Let's make a sushi bank.
Yeah, like in my mind, like this is just a start. We have SushiSwap, which is the AMM. Then we get Bento Box, which with the lending is a borrowing lending. It's also leverage shorting. Then we can add options, we can add futures, we can add we can keep adding primitives. And then I love the idea of like we can take that a step further, and take it all the way to basically provide any of the financial services that are currently like synthetics. We can do all kinds of stuff, and so growing that portfolio and creating a full suite and basically be the one-stop place where all the financial primitives that exist now and that we're gonna sort of that might appear in the future. So that's my sort of long-term idea of where this is going. That's what I would love to see.
I think in terms of medium long-term objectives, I think something we'll realize very quickly is how we can get every platform using Sushi, every DeFi, every crypto platform. I think that's a possibility that will become readily apparent very quickly through some initiatives like Sushi plugin and and Mirin and incentivizing certain rewards pool and basically leveraging our reward system to incentivize other people to share sushi, right? And this is where we can also capture some of the network effects of crypto and get sushi everywhere, right? On every single wallet provider, on every single website. You go to CoinDesk and you want to swap, it's powered by SushiSwap. That'd be a crazy first step, and it actualize a lot of volume for our LPs. More volume for LPs make happy LPs. Happy LPs means sushi can grow, and we can eventually grow into Sushi Bank, right? So that I think is something that will be realized, on the roadmap quite soon. So all these far-fetched things may come sooner than you think.
Cool. I think on that we're gonna leave it here for today. Thanks for everyone for joining in. I just wanted to say that it's not only the AMA where you can ask questions. We are on Discord. Some are on Telegram as well. We're on Twitter. Hit us up anywhere. We'd love to hear any feedback, any questions, and also. We do sort of more informal AMAs quite regularly. So if you're in the Discord, you'll see links appear sometimes, or just a few of us jump in and just to answer some questions and talk to more directly to community members. So cool. That's it from me.
Thanks for joining, Russ. Thank you for joining, Magic Turtle, Stacy, everyone that was here. Very amazing. We will probably do more like this. Thank you to the team, and talk soon.
Bye
Bye,
bye.
Thank everyone.
Thanks, everyone.